My regards. In the 80s and 90s, most of the world's football stars were in the Italian league. Legends and famous names all play there, between Juventus, Milan, Inter Lazio, Parma, and any name that comes to mind. A strong league for the level that between 80 and 90. The one who used to win the Ballon d'Or is present in it, except for 86, which if it had been awarded to a non-European, it would have been his because he had Maradona. Names like Paolo Rossi, Ruud, Gullit van Basten, and, let's not forget, Michel Platini and Rother Matthews. All of them dominated the Ballon d'Or, and from 88 to 90, the three nominees for the Ballon d'Or were from the Italian league. In the early 90s, people loved Baggio and Weir, and both of them were present in Italy. And then they loved Zidane and Ronaldo, the phenomenon. And they were in Italy because of the abundance of stars and the strength of the competition. Italy was called a football paradise at the time. But now reality has completely changed, and Italy has not become paradise as we know it. But it seems that in one league from that period, to this day, it is making itself a modern football paradise. It is true that no one has won the Ballon d'Or since 2008, but the last one, of course, was Ronaldo with Manchester United. But it is a league that has become, without question, the most attractive and competitive in the world. And just like there were 7 clubs in Italy that everyone knew for their love, for their support, for their encouragement, and for their popularity around the world, these cases are now being created in England. You used to find someone obsessed with Rome and someone who loves Parma. Now in England you meet many people who follow the major traditional clubs and new clubs that are rising and have stars. The English tournament is similar to Italy's situation in football paradise, in that every once in a while a new club comes to the fore, either because of investments or administrative work. True, Blackburn in the 1990s, and then Chelsea Abramovich in the early 2000s, then City, Newcastle and Brighton come to Aston Villa, and every now and then you get a team that annoys the adults, and you live with them for several years. What Tottenham did is enough to reach the level of the Champions League final. This means that every 2 years the taste of the league is renewed. The taste of the league is not just a competition between 2 teams. Also, the English Premier League was similar to the Italian league in its time, when it was dominated by the large amount of money available. Italy was not a football paradise, but because people love football with passion and have administrative genius. No, there was crazy money to be paid. Now we see that English clubs only have broadcasting rights that help them greatly. The rights to broadcast the English Premier League are 3 years longer than the Spanish leagues. 5 years. For this reason, they resemble many Italians in the 80s and 90s in terms of record deals every season. In the 80s and early 90s, every player who held the title of the most expensive player in history was playing in Italy. Napoli when they bought Maradona, then Milan when they bought Roger Guedes, then Juventus when they bought Roberto Baggio, and Milan when Jean-Pierre bought Popin. Currently, the English Premier League spends more money every season than the 4 leagues that compete with it. This made an average team in England easily enter into a deal with a very strong team in Italy, France, or Germany and win. More money means more deals, which ultimately means more quality. This is what made many players now say no to the English Premier League. It has become a measure of the player's ability now. The English League has become an easy idea for the players. If I go with any team, I play from number 20 to number 1, and I play well, the media will appreciate me and make me proud. This is what made a player like Tonali a Champions League semi-finalist with Milan, and he won the league a season before that. And he became a starter for the team, beating Newcastle. Of course, money plays a huge role, but the player knows that he will be tested more and his fame and stardom will be greater if he succeeds in the second leagues, in order to become famous and known. You have to get a lot of statements and compete for the top scorer title if you are not playing with the major, well-known teams. In England, in one season, you can become a record deal. This thing was in Italy in the past. I now remember a person who played for Sampdoria named Flaky. I was in university with this player. My friends loved him and considered him their star. He played for Sampdoria between 1999 and 2007, and he was a fierce striker. But he was popular. Now I doubt there are people who know any Sampdoria player. There was even another player named Tavano with Empoli. Personally, this was my favorite player, which I would love to see currently. The last time I saw Empoli, frankly, it might have been 4 or 5 years ago. The difference now is in England. He might be a player with Brentford. People know him and love him. He could be a player with Southampton. People know and watch him, even though he went down to the second level. Because this was when Italy entered into a deal, the player does not think twice. And now the same situation is with England. In the end, the issue, whether in Paradise Italy or Paradise England, is money. But the English teams learned from Italy's mistakes. They put the money under certain governance and ensured that the clubs did not go bankrupt. Parma, Lazio, or other clubs had entered into deep financial problems in Italy, to the point that the giants Milan and Inter had been involved in them for years. In Italy, investment was a love adventure to prove oneself. In England, it was a real financial investment. Every money spent must have a known source. The person who owns a club must know the source of its funds and trust its continuity, and every year in the accounts, the clubs do not reach an unsustainable level of debt. They also learned from the lesson of the Spaniards. Yes, they led football for years, specifically from 2009, meaning the era of Messi and Ronaldo together. They both had a problem for Real Madrid and Barcelona. Their league's global popularity was linked to Ronaldo and Messi, Real Madrid and Barcelona. Ronaldo's departure. Messi, we will never deny that La Liga's global popularity has declined. England knew from the beginning that if I wanted to play a league forever and develop, it had to be a productive and cheerful league, not a problem. Exciting details did not interest them. Consequently, United's level dropped a lot. Liverpool's level has dropped a lot. But it remained the English Premier League. Shadid is a media stunt.